It's live. So there is going to be, just so you guys know, there's a 30-second delay. So if you ask us questions and they don't answer right away, it's okay. It will happen. Just give it like 30 seconds. But welcome to CosTalk Live. It is October 24th. It's almost Halloween. Like, what is happening? And today we have the US Team USA from the World Cosplay Summit. We've got OMG, Barri, and ChibiTifa. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming. So why don't we go ahead and while I've got to do Jessica's roles as Amber Brite pointed out. Why don't we have you guys introduce yourself? We'll start with you, Barri.
Okay. Hi, I'm Barri. I have my username is usually OMG, it's Barri. I've had that username since I was like 13. But anyway, I also go by Barracuda. But I have been cosplaying for 16 years now. I started sewing. I'm totally self-taught when it comes to sewing. I just kind of look at YouTube videos and ask my friends. I really love sewing idol costumes. Idols are my favorite thing in the world, pretty much. And I love cosplaying them because they're so fluffy and cute and sparkly and sparkles. Other than that, I like to, I watch a lot of anime, so I mostly cosplay from anime. But I will cosplay from video games every once in a while. And I don't know. I guess you'll find out more about me through talking. I'm really bad at self-introduction.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Chibi?
Hi, I'm ChibiTifa. Had that name for forever now. Long story, we'll get into it. But I've been cosplaying for about 17 years now. I first started cosplaying at Otakon 2004, so a long time ago. I've always really liked to sew, so when I found cosplay as a hobby, I was like, oh, I can actually, sew and actually do something I really like and really enjoy. So I am self-taught as well. I do have a few techniques from my grandmother, and she actually gave me my very first sewing machine, and I did a few costumes on that, and I did upgrade. I have to upgrade again, but yeah, I've also been a judge. Things, particularly around the East Coast, like Anime USA, Anime Next. I recently just judged yesterday at Baltimore Comic Con, and that was a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
And I do have a con coming up called Comfy Cozy Con, in which I will be also a judge. And me and Barri will also be judging at ALA in January. So I look forward to seeing everybody there.
Awesome. Thank you. And return viewers should know me. I'm Amber Brite. I am a professional prop maker and cosplayer here in Phoenix, Arizona. I've been cosplaying for insert years here. We always forget to actually forget how many, but it's like, I don't know, not as many as these two. And then we have two. Oh yeah, I was right. This side.
Yeah, I know. It's like yeah.
Yeah, I'm like
I'm Sam from ThermoCosplay. Been here since day one on CosTalk Live. Started cosplaying in 2014 on a whim, and here I am still.
And I've been cosplaying since 2013 because I was a newbie cosplayer when I met Sam. So there.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, always the year before.
Yeah, I just need to let you go first every time, so that way I can remember what year it was for me.
That works. And hello, Joe, Aspen, Cool Gamer, and Stars of Cassiopeia. Thank you for joining us today.
And if you are a new viewer, whatever channel that you're viewing us through, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, that's the other one, please feel free to give us comments. We'll mostly be kind of running through their experience and what it was like for them. But if you have any questions, any thoughts, anything like that, throw them out there. This is a very interactive stream. So
yes, and we do stream, like Amber said, we stream to 3 different places. So we will see your comments coming in, and so will they. It's on a little special comment stream, so we can see all of what you're saying. So thank you for all of your introductions. And we are today talking about the World Cosplay Summit. And this year, the World Cosplay Summit was virtual. For those of you who didn't know.
We should probably start by those who are new to cosplay or new
Oh, yeah.
to competition.
If you don't know what the World Cosplay Summit is, it's literally an international competition where cosplayers from around the world compete for the title of best cosplayer.
And they have teams from
Whatever.
different countries, correct?
Yes.
Yes, and the competition usually occurs in Japan. So people travel from all over the world. There's a week-long like celebration and parades, and there's just a bunch of activities. But with the pandemic, it just simply wasn't going to be safe or secure for all the individuals participating. And then some people there's still certain countries that have travel restrictions, and so it wasn't going to be fair for people who couldn't necessarily travel to compete. So they decided to go virtual, and Barri and Tifa managed to get into that virtual competition. So why don't you walk us through, like, what was it like? How did you get approved to enter the competition?
Tifa, you started it. You asked me.
I did.
He asked me.
I did approach Barri. Well, I will just preface everything by saying I've always wanted to compete in WCS. It has literally been my dream since I found out about the competition. I would say about 2004, 2005. And
Uh-oh.
Oh, you cut out.
Your audio cut out.
Oh no. So I think if you ChibiTifa, if you go into the actual
Okay.
There you go. Cool.
I hear her, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what happened there. I apologize.
No worries.
But yeah, like I was saying, I've always wanted to compete literally since like 2005. And I was actually writing scripts because it is still a stage competition. So I literally had scripts on my old laptop, just like, oh, this is what I wanted to do. Let me write a skit if me and my partner would do this on stage. And, I had like costume changes. I had like stage ninjas. I had like all sorts of craziness in my scripts. And I've always told myself that I wanted to do Utena. That was the series I've always wanted to do if I were to compete in WCS. Anthe was my very first costume, and to pay tribute to that, that was what I wanted to compete as on stage. So years happened, nothing ever happened with that. And I never really managed to get to AX because AX is the qualifier to go.
And for those who don't know what AX is, that's Anime Expo.
Yes. So I never really had a chance to go to AX. I was like, okay, I guess this isn't happening. And then fast forward to pandemic. And then of course the world like stopped turning. So all of a sudden I see that they're like, hey, we're doing WCS, but we're doing a virtual competition, a virtual version of it where you would, make a video and submit that. And I was like, okay, well, this is probably something I can do. So I approached Barri because she had told me that she's always wanted to cosplay Utena. That has always been one of the costumes she's wanted to do. And I was like, okay, well, I want to do this as Anthe. You want to be my partner? She was like, yeah, sure. And that's how it happened. So I managed to ask her, and we created something amazing. I'm really, really proud of it.
She lucked out too because I'm also kind of a video editing whiz and was able to I did all the video editing and special effects for our video. So Tifa was like, I was like, do you have any video editing experience or anything? Do you want to help at all? And she's like, I know nothing. And I was like, all right, I got you. Don't worry, I got you. So she also lucked out in that case that I also was like, when I saw it was a video competition, I was like, oh, good, I'm good at video. I had actually the year before had entered Crunchyroll Hime's cosplay contest, Crunchyroll Hime Cosplay Cup through Crunchyroll Expo, and came out with a Director's Choice Award. And that was also a digital online contest with a video. Different restrictions, though. So we had a lot more freedom with the WCS video. So I was very excited to get to work on it. It was really fun to be able to kind of really make a short film, basically, which is what we did. It was really...
Because previous to this year, for those who've never seen WCS, the skits are pretty pretty elaborate, pretty
Oh, yeah.
intense. It's not just one of those cosplay competitions where you're judged solely on craftsmanship. You're also judged on showmanship
Yes.
and creativity and such like that. So this is very much in the spirit of WCS, but also kind of like a new version of WCS.
I honestly really hope that they continue it. I thought it was really cool. A lot of when we watched the championships, when we were part of the championships, it was amazing to see what people came up with. It was so cool, like all the creativity. Every video was just so different. Like no two videos were alike. Like I think there were I don't think there was any overlap in series, but it was still like everyone had totally different unique ideas, and it was so cool to see what people came up with.
And we do have that video a little bit later, so viewers stay with it. Joe says, I judged WCS several times in South America. Awesome. So happy to have you here. Thank you. This is exciting seeing it happening in another country. I think that's one of the cool parts about WCS too, is it is one of the few times that our cosplay is very much worldwide. And you guys did you guys get to meet the other teams?
Yes.
Or
yeah, they held a couple like digital mixers for us, where we were literally all just on Zoom and chatting. They did I unfortunately had to miss the karaoke. I was really sad about that because I love karaoke, but Tifa got to experience the karaoke, and it was just really cool. We also had like a chat going with like all the competitors, and like we just kind of all became friends. It was really wonderful, and everyone was super lovely.
That's awesome. So we also have Joe that says congratulations for the spoiler. Aspen says perfect team. Yes, we agree. Apparently the WCS judges also agreed, so everyone's in concurrence there. Robert says, how long is the performance, or in this case the video?
The video had to be 2 minutes and 30, no more than 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
That's correct.
And then Sakura says the video division will continue, but not sure what capacity. Yeah, I think that's going to be one of those interesting things going forward. We had so many conventions move to digital, and that really opened up the door for people. Like Tifa was saying, you hadn't been able to get to Anime Expo before. So if this was a normal year, you wouldn't have been able probably to compete, correct?
Well, I found out that Holiday Matsuri, I apologize, is actually a qualifier. But at the same time, it's still travel. It is still time.
I think Chicago is one too.
Yeah, Anime Central had a qualifier, I believe, at one point.
Sometimes it shifts. Yeah, I know that sometimes
it does kind of shift. It depends on where the WCS organizers can work with the masquerade coordinators and whatnot.
Yep. So, Stars of Cassiopeia says that they're so excited that the video format is staying. There are so many amazing showcases you can do on video that you wouldn't be feasible on stage. And I agree. If that video stays, if there is a video competition, that might be something I was mentioning earlier that I was so scared to enter WCS just because stage props and I don't exactly agree. So
same.
That's not exactly like I got cardboard. That's about it, guys. Maybe some PVC.
Every time I do a stage competition, I get up on stage and then I like black out, and then I like end up backstage and I go, what just happened?
So I'm fine on stage. It's just creating such elaborate, large props to interact with just kind of daunts me. But being able to maybe use some of the existing architecture in my city and my town and my state to my advantage would be really cool. And that might be something that maybe in the future I could compete simply because it's virtual.
Yeah. So how was that process for you guys? How was it as far as like, did you guys meet up a lot? Did you have it virtually? Like, how did you guys make it happen?
So we actually, I mean, we're pretty good friends and we talk. I keep going the wrong way with my hands. But anyway, we have been really good friends. We honestly, we're like, wait, when did we meet? And then we're both like, I don't know. But anyway, so like we were talking, like we were pretty much talking every day as far as like just kind of what we were planning. Tifa was in charge of the script. I had kind of been eyeing different locations, and then we came across we'd like had a couple ideas since I'm in Philadelphia and she's down in DC. We were pretty much kind of looking for something either somewhere in between, so we didn't have to travel too much. And then we came upon the Washington National Arboretum, which is where we ended up shooting. It had the beautiful columns, and we were like, all right, that's it. We're done. We don't need to look for another location.
Like
It's so very Utina. Like,
And then those were the other location that we had thought about was Meridian Hill Park, which is actually where we had done a secondary shoot, where that particular picture that you have on screen is from, which is also in DC. And I frequent DC a lot, so it wasn't really that big of a deal. So we met up in March, or not in March, in May. I came down to ChibiTifa's house, and we hung out in the night. We like finalized our costumes, and then we filmed, and then I went home. And then I started editing the video. Again, was just pretty much sending her video. It was most of it was done in pure pandemic style, and that those are the columns that we were like, oh my god, that looks like the dueling arenas. We're done.
Yeah, we literally saw that. We're like, that is so perfect. We need to do that like now.
Isn't it like the best feeling where you're just like, yes, this is perfect. Like,
like,
I mean, that's literal intro. I do a retro anime panel, and Utina's always in there, and I'm always like, intro, like yes. That.
Awesome. It looks like Joe has a question. What are you guys most excited about for this edition of WCS? And have you met the other participants? We have met other participants. As we were saying before, they had like a mixer for us that the WCS organizers made. So yes, we have met. I've actually was friendly with and mutuals with a handful of them as well. So it was also really exciting to be able to see them and kind of just become more friendly with them, which was wonderful. And that and as far as most excited about, it was much easier to find a location than to build a set.
Yes.
I will say that we've met pretty much everybody from the rest of the countries, and I will say they are all lovely people.
I agree.
People. Like Barry said, we had a karaoke session for us, like a little post championship type of icebreaker thing that we couldn't attend the first time because time zones, and we are like 13 hours behind Japan, but we managed to make it work this time. And let me tell you, it was a wonderful experience meeting everyone, getting the chance to know everyone, singing with everyone, just sharing our love of cosplay, because that's worldwide. Like, there's no discrepancy in that. We all love cosplay, we all love video games, we all love games. So we all bonded with, a similar love for everything. That was wonderful.
I often have people, because I've judged costume contests a bunch myself, and I often have people go, well, I want to compete, but I'm not sure. I wouldn't like losing. And I always tell people, like, you need to compete for reasons other than just winning. Like, obviously you need to have that drive to win.
Yeah.
But most of the competitions you're going to enter, the things that you're going to walk away with treasuring are going to be the people you stood 100%. With in
the green room interaction.
The green room is phenomenal. Yeah, no, it was, and I had a very similar experience also with the Crunchyroll Expo competition as well. It was a very similar, where it's like you didn't care who won at the end of the day. I mean, you're all winners because at least with WCS, we all won our individual countries, but then we all just had really new relationships were developed, and I mean.
And it's a great niche to meet cosplayers, because the reasons why people cosplay are so varied and so vastly different. And if you are someone who likes to build and likes to create and likes like the niche part of making it with your hands, like, where better to find other people like that than in a cosplay competition, especially like WCS.
Yeah, you can talk shop. It's very fun to like just meet like-minded people, and especially like-minded cosplayers. I mean, it's one thing to find another cosplayer in the wild, but it's another to find the niche within the niche, really.
Yeah.
Also, it looks like Cass, which I know stars of Cassiopeia. She says, have you met this year's competitors? Have you gotten a chance to speak to any other previous Team USAs? I personally am friendly with Josh and Melissa, who are Team Garnet Heart whatever their costumier or whatever. I love them both. Josh and Melissa are wonderful people. I've also been friendly with Tekka from Team 2022 in Japan next year, which we will also be at. To answer Joe's question, we will be at next year's competition, as it was part of our prize pack for winning the the WCS United States qualifier. Other than that, I mean, I've talked to the cupcakes too. The cupcakes are also lovely. I've met like a good amount of the WCS teams, surprisingly, now that I think about it.
It's kind of one of those things where the competitive circuit is not
it's not that big,
infinite.
Yeah,
especially in like the upper echelons. So one of the things that I really like is that once you start making these connections, like you'll be amazed at how many people that also know these other people. So it's one of those great things. So what was like the timetable for you as far as this whole process? Like, Tifa, when did you start to, like, how long was the wait? Like, how did that go?
I'm gonna assume the timetable to get everything submitted, everything filmed, and everything in.
Yes.
Yeah, I will say, and I will admit, it wasn't a whole lot of time, but we made it work. We literally had to start our costumes like the weekend. We were like, okay, did we submit our form to be a team? Okay, let's start.
Yeah.
So we literally had to film rather quickly, and then Barry had to edit rather quickly. It probably took me about a week to write the script. I was literally like writing my script in between my work, like, because I was working at home at the time, and I'm like, okay, I'm doing this for my job. Okay, I'm gonna go open this Word document and type up more of the script. So it was we both found time. It wasn't a huge timetable again, but if we had a vision, and that
we did. That helped. That really helped.
We had a vision. Barry did the
I made some beautiful whatever. I don't know if you could. I wish I could share my screen because I have my beautiful drawings that I did for our storyboard. I literally stick figures.
So you can actually share your screen.
Okay.
So,
Hold on.
You can share your screen. There is an option.
Okay. Oh, here we go. I found it.
Cool. Like Barry will show her storyboard.
Oh, is that what that button that says share down at the bottom?
Yeah. Cool. I can share some of my beautiful screenshots I took of my beautiful drawings
on stream. Like,
yeah, I know. I didn't want to touch anything. And I'm like, oh, well,
you guys won't break it. I can fix. I have the admin panel, so I can always fix if something happens.
It's not a case if you break it, you buy it. So
okay, here we go.
It does you have to have a vision. It does help to have a plan, because if we did not have that, I don't know what we would have done. For this particular competition, you can't just go in saying I'm going to compete and not know what you want to do. You pretty much have to already know what you want to do, how your video is going to go, and Barry's beautiful storyboarding has really helped me the video.
I love this so much.
Oh my god.
It reminds me of my days as an animator. Like, this is beautiful.
Like, I literally was like, I'm just gonna this was part of the transformation. Yeah. There's us being cool. That was the ending shot. That's work. Stop sharing. Actually, I have the full storyboards somewhere.
And I was being extra. I love costume transformations, even on stage. Watching the WCS performances in the past, them doing it on stage has been phenomenal. And I'm like, I'm going to have that in this video come hell or high.
Yeah. It was really fun trying to figure out our transformation. Because we did have the ability to do more than just the quick change aspect that you generally think of when you think of a costume change. Right. We had the opportunity to kind of add that magic that added. I don't know if you want to. This might be a good time to show the video.
Yeah, we can do
just
that.
because
That's fine. I've got
half the video is us transforming and summoning the sword of Dios and stuff.
So I'm going to share the system audio. Let me grab the
We can go.
YouTube.
All right, viewers, here we go.
Do you guys hear the audio?
Yes.
Haven't you been wearing those enough?
Miss Utana, is there anything I can do for you today?
No, I think I'm okay.
Well, if there's anything I can do for you, please feel free to let me know. As your betrothed.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about. So this whole Rose Brite thing, I really don't understand it. And quite frankly, I think it's a little ridiculous.
That is my fate, after all.
Oh, I've seen this so many times, Joe.
Especially because you edited, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And what if I can free you from this fate?
Oh no.
If I can win all the duels
There we go.
and revolutionize the world, you can drop the Rose Brite thing, and we can just be friends.
Love the special effects.
Thank you. They were a labor of love.
So pretty.
Yay!
That took forever.
I like that very much, Miss Utana.
You can drop the miss.
Yay!
And I love, like, so one of the things that comes up when I'm talking to people about how to do skits and stuff like that for cosplay, is especially cosplay contests, is you really have to build something that somebody who knows nothing about that show
Yep.
can still find something to
Absolutely.
appreciate.
Yeah.
I've seen so many skits where it like depends on like the understanding of that show, and you're going to lose your audience and potentially some of your judges if they're not familiar with that. So I love that you guys contained the story, but like in an accessible way that's still really appealing to people who know the story too.
Yeah, we even had some feedback from one of the judges from the prelims of they had never seen it, and they were like, well, in it rended my heartstrings, and I've never even seen Utana. Whereas, I mean, of course, then we had Melissa, who was one of the judges as well, and she was like, oh my God, because she loves Utana as well. So I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Good.
So that's
yes,
good.
that was all Miss Tifa. She wrote the script. This wouldn't be possible without her. I just made it look pretty.
All right, let me see about comments here.
Joe loves that we memorize everything, which yes, I did.
Yes. And then Joe also asked, is there any performance from other competitors that really stuck out to each of you?
I really liked Team Philippines skit. I mean, I might be a little biased because I really like Jin. I've been following Jin, Behind Infinity Jin, for a very long time now. But their skit was in a very similar vein of ours, where it was like you didn't necessarily have to know Naruto, but like knowing Naruto definitely helped. But it also had like a lot of raw emotion. I also really liked who else did I really like? I mean,
And you
the
can
winners
find
was-
these all on YouTube.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you
they're all
are-
up on YouTube in various
if you're
accounts.
new
I know.
and you're like, you know, and if you want to go rewatch that, which you should go
Yes.
rewatch that because
Yes.
it skipped a little bit there in the middle.
You can also find it at the World Cosplay Summit website. So if you go to the World Cosplay Summit, they have
it has
archives and they've got
yeah,
all of
Australia. Yes, thank you, Cassie, for bringing that up. Australia's was my favorite skit ever. They did Pop Team Epic, and it was an episode of Pop Team Epic. If anyone's seen Pop Team Epic, because it is so like I was in stitches, like I was crying.
Yeah.
It was yes. There's lovely Cal Sarah and Elfie, and then that video the Zelda video was so cool. They had really cool visual effects. They had like the Majora's Mask like straight up like shoot like its tentacles or whatever out. It was very cool. And then third place was Scones and what's his name?
Minnie and Gnomes.
Minnie and Gnomes. No.
Yeah, and if you go down
were
here,
wonderful. Their skit was really cute too. They
all videos. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna grab just real quick, share all the videos so people can see like, oh, they have the whole collection. So if you're interested, you can watch every team.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they're all there.
Yeah.
The Philippines was I love Naruto, and like Barry said, you didn't even have to know what the story of Naruto is. It was just really, it hit you in the feels.
Yeah, it hit you in the feels. Yeah.
Because that's what you want from the skit, you know. You want to evoke
emotion of
emotional response of some sort, you know. All right. Cass says, Os's was a perfect example of something that wouldn't have worked on stage but was brilliant in video.
Yeah, that was from the Pop Team Epic one. The Pop Team Epic one, it really, like, how they did it, how they executed it definitely would not have translated well at all to a stage performance, but it worked so well as a video. Like I said, it could have easily been another section of the Pop Team Epic anime, like, straight up. I showed it to so many people. I was just like, you need to see the skit. It is so funny. But then other people didn't get it because it was Pop Team Epic.
Yeah. So it's kind of we're seeing this kind of transformation, I guess, of a lot of this into kind of this virtual space. And I would say video editing is not something that most cosplayers have experience in or access to. So what is your advice for somebody who is wanting to do WCS but doesn't know?
If you as far as like the video editing aspect, like iMovie, if you have an iPhone, is actually quite powerful. I was really impressed with a friend of mine who I did not know anything about editing and it entered I think for her universe, and she I was really impressed with her entry video just because I was like, you did this all on your iPad? Wow. Like that's crazy. I mean, I've been editing videos since I was like in middle school. And but then like video editing technology has become a lot more accessible. I mean, honestly, like even just look at like TikTok, like how much power TikTok has as far as like their editing tools. There are a lot of free apps out there. So like honestly, like yes, there are the standards of like Premiere Pro and Final Cut, but you really don't even need those these days. Like if you have a vision and you know what you want, you can make it happen on your iPad or a tablet of some sort.
Yeah, we use Android, and same thing. My husband has like just an app on his phone, so we'll film something, and he'll just sit there on his phone and put it up. And I wish I knew what the app was. I wish I was better prepared.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
I also recommend using CapCut. Most people use it for TikTok and Instagram. It has up to a 15-minute video limit. So if you make 15-minute chunks, you can just combine it all together using GoPro Quick or Filmora, and both of them have free options available. So there's great ways to go about it too.
And I will say, if you're not sure you want to get into video, like doing video is very different than doing still photos of cosplay and stuff like that. Like, I always tell people, like, get on TikTok, mess around, see if you even like it. Because some people are like, I love photos, but like, don't make me move or emote.
Yeah, no. Outside of WCS, I'm very bad with like coming up with video ideas. So I just stick to the 2D medium personally. But I think it is really cool what people come up with. And again, if you're doing something more like a short film, it's still pretty accessible. And you can, like you were saying, even with CapCut, do straight like a 15-minute video.
Yeah.
So with you guys, when you had to do your crafting, what was that like for becoming the qualifying team? Because I know that there's different some places require you have an entire portfolio that you have to open up with all the pages. Some accept phones, some accept digital folders sent over. So what was the process for you to even become qualified?
We had to do pretty much a build book. Like, what was it? Like, we had 30 pages?
We had 30 pages, yeah.
30 pages.
So I split it 15 and 15.
Yeah, so Barry had two costumes. She had her duelist uniform, and she also had her Otori school uniform.
Mm-hmm.
I made my Otori uniform, but that was really just for the transformation purposes. So I spent obviously more time on the Rose Bride dress.
Mm-hmm.
And I had basically used, we basically used our pages wisely. We had, okay, this is how we did the jackets. This is how I did my skirt. The overlay of the skirt. This is how we did our accessories. So we kind of broke each part of our costume down to like a page, and we had like, a brief description of everything because they're not looking for a tutorial, just basically just what you did.
Yeah.
So it made the process a lot easier and simpler to do. And with her wonderful skills made it really, really Utena-ish.
Hold on here. I can pull it up. I can pull it up.
Yeah, because that's one thing I know. I've been a masquerade judge before, and I've also competed before, and I know that's one thing that I've seen other people come in and they you only have usually about 2 or 3 minutes, and they get frustrated because they're like, oh, I only got through the first page. I'm like, you should never be that complicated.
Yeah, that's a one thing that I definitely suggest if you are looking at competing. Sorry, I got distracted by the comments. I would suggest think about what you want to highlight before you actually go in and speak to the judges. Like, even if it's just I want to highlight this, and this. You don't have to plan exactly what you want to say, but the judges will appreciate if you're being concise. Yeah. You will be much less stressed.
Yeah. Assume that the judges know what they're doing.
Yes.
I've seen so many contestants come in and be like, oh, I built this out of EVA foam and I used barge and then I shaped it. I'm like, no, I know all that. I can see that with an instance. Like, what did you do on this that is exceptional or new or neat? Like, don't waste time telling the judges what your thing is made out of unless that's a cool part, like if it's real leather or
if you use like a specific technique, that's what they like to highlight. Like, for example, like I had a whole page on my applique, which I did on my jacket. That was the first time I had used free arm stitching. So like I said, I put a whole page and then just this. So this was pretty much our build book.
And I love that you pointed that out because you want to point out what you did. You
want to point out what you learned.
Yes. And also like that could have been a fabric choice too.
Yes.
Like if you had found like a quilted fabric, but saying like taking ownership of that allows you to like add those points to you essentially. Like
and if this is the first time that you're competing, I highly suggest downloading an app called Cosplanner, because it actually has little elements in it that make you, oh wait, I wouldn't have thought to take a picture of that, or I wouldn't have thought to document that. And so it just kind of helps get you into the mindset of tracking your builds in a certain way.
Sakura mentions, I've had a judge me who didn't know what a soldering iron was at a con. It was terrible. And this is one of those things that I go back to over and over and over again, is that sometimes people go, why didn't I win at a con? And sometimes the answer is the judges.
That wig, man.
There's no standard qualification for judges. It's usually whoever the con runners can get. And there are certain conventions, D23, in which the judges are literally like voice actors who have no idea. Yeah. And in that case, you do kind of have to be like, I made this. But those become cons, like contests where craftsmanship doesn't matter as much as spectacle. So it is frustrating sometimes to walk in and be like, oh, I made this out of like with this specific technique, and then have your judge go blank face and you're like, okay, cool. So just research your judges. you know, and go in assuming that they know their
what they're
stuff,
talking about. Yeah.
you know. But WCS doesn't use voice actors for judges.
No,
so-
WCS used former either former organizers, former staff, former competitors. They know what. Thankfully, with WCS, they bring in qualified judges.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our build portfolio. Cass, I can send that to you if you're interested in taking a look at it. If anyone else is, that's my next project. Anyway,
Sneak peek. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
I will say that and you know how Barry mentioned her free arm stitching, like how I did my Rose Bride dress, everything was inspired by Indian brides, like modern Indian brides, because Auntie is be South Asian, particularly Tamil Indian. So I went with a lot of lace. Her skirt was in the style of lehenga, which is of course the Indian bridal skirt, and that was my first time actually doing a lace overlay of anything. So I got this lace, and I was like, I guess this will work. So I cut it up and I used it. I actually was able to, I stitched it on my hand after everything.
Yeah. Dana chose violence, or sorry, Tifa chose violence.
I chose violence a lot because I was like, oh, I could have.
I don't know how she hand sewed all that on because I sure was like, nope.
I hand
do it by machine.
I sewed everything on after the jacket was done. I was watching Escaflowne while I was doing it. I managed not to have any of the thread show on the lining.
That's amazing.
I looked at it, I was like, wait a minute, there's no threads in here. And I actually put that as one of my points of interest, which is what they
we had to create a 8-minute long video, basically highlight it, basically kind of like a judge's interview where you're going in and you talk about the different things that you highlighted as well, so that they got more than just your build book as well.
And I do recommend having a build book, especially if you're competing in Journeyman or Masters, because the long and the short of it is they just said 8 minutes. 99% of the time you get like a minute to sell yourself to judges. I've had costume contests where I've been the judge and I've had an hour to do 90 people. So everyone got like 30 seconds or less. And honestly, like ideally we wouldn't have that situation. Ideally each 90, all of those people would have several minutes to explain themselves, but that doesn't often happen. So a build book that you can give to the judges that they can then later during the show or, during their downtime look through is going to make sure that you tell them why you should win and also like put yourself in their memory again. Because you have two chances to make the judges impressed. Your interview and on stage. And that's it. Like that's 2 minutes.
And if you're not very good on stage, work real hard behind the scenes to make them remember you. Because when I'm alone on stage, it's really hard for me. So I can admit this as someone who's experienced. When I'm alone on stage, I'm so awkward. So I try to just butter up those judges when I'm backstage. Like, this is how I made this.
If you don't have a skit, if you're just doing a walk on, the biggest like thing that I can tell people, and this is going out of our virtual reality or virtual cons into like real cons, but like try and like interact with the audience or the judges.
Well, even virtual cons, like if you have to do a virtual submission, you have to submit a PDF, and then a lot of the times when you're submitting, they're going to ask for some kind of video interview. Really interact with that camera like there's someone on the other side. Talk with them, get excited, say, isn't this really cool? Like really put your personality into it.
How was the judging for AX? Was that also virtual as well?
For AX? Yes, that was also virtual. All of the qualifiers were virtual. Everything was virtual. We had, I believe, a Zoom call with the judges that while they viewed the videos.
Nice.
I also in our private chat, if you don't mind sharing that drive link, that is the link to our build book for people who are
will do that.
Thanks.
I will share it too. You just want to share it publicly? Is that
you can just share it. Yeah, you can just share it in the comments. That's fine with me.
I'm gonna put that in there.
It's a public drive link, so it should show up. How many qualifiers were involved? There were 9 teams total when we at the end of the day. There were 11. But then I think a couple dropped out, and then we were down to 9 when the final competition happens, or when the
Because
final qualifier happened.
each country has its own qualifier
Yes.
Yeah.
or qualifiers, I think.
Yes.
So some have multiple, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very confusing if you're not like reading and kind of in on it. So I would recommend that if WCS is something that you're interested in, just spend a little bit of time looking on the website to see what what the process is, because it is a little different per country, and it is a little
it definitely is.
year.
Yeah, and it's also I mean, it differs also from like, especially I think when they used to when it was on stage, they had multiple like pre-qualifiers, and then they had the final qualifiers in AX.
Yeah,
as far as I believe, I'm pretty sure that's right.
I think so, because I know if you win at Hallmat,
if you win a Hallmat, you go to
AX, and then AX is the final qualifier. Yeah.
It's serious business, that's for sure. So
yeah, definitely. It takes
and if you have any other questions, please don't feel afraid to ask. These are experienced cosplayers. Oh no, ChibiTifa. I think the iPad died.
Oh
no. So hopefully we'll see her back.
Well, Barri, what was your favorite part of this experience, and like conversely, like what was the hardest part too?
The hardest part for me was my sword, because that thing was a nightmare. I don't know if there's any pictures of the sword.
The sword is where I would
enjoy, but I spent so many times on so many. Yeah, there we go. There's a sword. There she is. The sword was probably the hardest part for me. It was 3D printed for me. I had gotten the model from. And actually, Cass, who is again in the comments, was the one who kindly printed it for me, and also colored the clear parts. That sword was a time, and it still needs to be fixed again. But anyway, that's beside the point. We'll worry about that another time. But yeah, that was probably the hardest part for me, was building the sword, because I am not a props person. I sew, and that's about it. Like, I've made tiny props, and like they never turn out great. So like, I love 3D printing, and it was wonderful to kind of get that part, but that was the hardest part for me. Other than that, my favorite part was probably other than winning the qualifiers, which was pretty cool, and was probably the filming. Honestly, that filming, it was really hot that day, and like I feel so bad for Tifa. She like almost passed out, because like it was really like it was supposed to. It was not supposed to be 90 degrees out, and it was 90 degrees out.
And especially like that dress and the wig.
Without that little dress on. I was like, we were like, all right. And then I just have a weird amount of stamina. Also, and the other awful thing was I left my ring in Philadelphia.
Oh no!
So thank you. So thankfully, our helper is a big Utena fan, and she had multiple rings for me to use.
Oh, thank
goodness. I was like, I owe you my life. So I'm like, her name's Carrie, and she is wonderful, and I owe her my life. I will say it 100 times if I need to. You will know Sam. My ring was made by other Sam, Maya's Sam. Maya's husband. Yes.
Yeah.
My New Cosplay's husband. She made my ring. It's beautiful. I have it right here.
I miss knowing you. Why are you not in Arizona anymore?
Yes. So this is my actual ring, but this was not the ring featured in the video. This was in Pennsylvania when that happened.
Oh my gosh. So Tifa, the question I asked Barri was, what was your favorite part, and was like, what was the hardest part for you?
I apologize. My connection is not having it today, so I do apologize for like disappearing.
That's okay.
My favorite part, I love writing. I also wanted to say that if you are planning to do WCS, whether it be on, stage or virtually, your script is very important. As discussed before, I wrote the script in mind where like, hey, Utena is a very complex show. I need to have some type of skit in which, even if somebody has not seen Utena or watched it, they'll be able to understand what we're trying to do. And that's exactly
There's
what
baby Tifa.
Look at that glow up. That's gorgeous.
yeah, the very first cosplay, as I said before, that is 2004. And of course on the right is 2021. So blow up pictures. But yeah, I love writing it. I kind of wrote it kind of like a fanfic almost in a way.
Yeah. Yeah,
Pretty
Tifa
much-
came to me. She's like, "Oh my god, this is a fanfic." I was like, "That's what we want. We
Yes.
want a fanfic." Oh yay,
So-
there's Maya. Hi Maya.
Yeah.
And it was basically Utena for Dummies. So I was like, okay, let me do that. I did love the filming. I mean, like Barry said, it was very hot that day. I wanted to pass out. I was in a huge ball gown walking because we had to walk all the way to the columns. It was not close. So I did enjoy filming it. Despite everything, it was one of my favorite parts. And
Yeah,
also-
big shout out also to Adoilable. Molly
Yes.
she was amazing to work with. Our videographer. We had approached her. I had approached her because I had worked with her as a photographer, and I had loved her work. I love her vision. She just knocked it out of the park. Like as far as just the filming, she really helped. We sat down with her and we discussed kind of like how we wanted to film certain shots. This was before the actual filming, so she was like, "All right, show me your storyboard, and I'll come up with some ideas and we'll talk about it." So she also, and a lot of it honestly was on the fly because we didn't really know. We didn't have time to scout the location beforehand because Molly is down in Virginia and then Tifa's in DC. So she was probably the closest, but like, again, what's time? And also like, so we pretty much winged it on the day of, as far as like what like kind of shots, like we had an idea, but like we also kind of had to be like, all right, well, that won't work, so let's do this.
Flexibility is good. Like having
Yeah,
some like
yeah.
built-in flexibility is very good. So,
Yeah, so
and you've mentioned a couple times now some of your the support staff.
Yeah.
I think anyone who competes. I'm sorry, my cat is being such a menace today.
I love him.
Anyone who competes like has this idea of like I'm going to do this and stuff like that, but support like people around you to help you and fix things and
handlers.
Yes,
Handlers were great. We had 2 handlers, both named Carrie, actually.
Awesome.
They were both, we were like,
secret twins.
Yeah, well, we brought in a Carrie and then Molly had her own, and she was like, we're like, oh yeah, and she's like, yeah, my helper's also named Carrie, and I was like, well, we just had Carrie 1 and Carrie 2.
Yeah. Elephant Bird says big cosplays do not happen without handlers. Yes, and like even virtual conventions and stuff like that, you have no idea how handy it is. Just have somebody who knows what your costume is supposed to look like. Like I've had so many photo shoots where it was just me, and then like one piece of my costume was like turned around, or I had like a hair like sticking up or something like that. So like
I always try and play director for my other friends if I'm at their shoots. I'm like, oh hold on, I need to fix you. You need to fluff your hair, fluff your wig, or fluff your skirt or whatever. And like I will go full director mode with people if I'm on the assistant side of things. But no, it is definitely, you don't have to do this alone. Our credits are fairly small because I'm stubborn and so is Tifa. We like to do things on our own, but we did have help, and do not be afraid to have help, because even if they're not in part of the full final product, they still helped get you there. And or they're not shown in the final product, I should say, because obviously they are technically part of the final product that they helped. Is just definitely like, do not think that you have to do it by yourself. You can come in and ask for help. Honestly, that comes with anything with cosplay. I mean, we're all just making crap up. We're all just like making everything up as we go. I mean, these costumes are like not meant to be in real life. So
they get to put lines on a page, and we have to somehow figure out how to make scenes
exactly.
and Widowmaker with her giant cut, and I'm like, she's gonna pop out the moment she moves, and all this stuff. So viewers, it is our last like 5 minutes or so, if you have any burning questions, please let us know. Now's the time to toss it out here. But how about for both of you, any final thoughts, any final words of advice, any like grand takeaways, the meaning of life, or anything like that? No pressure.
Have fun. Have fun. Do something you love.
Yeah.
Go with your gut. Go with your gut. I always say go with your gut, like, because when we initially were talking about doing WCS, obviously when we were speaking about it, Tifa was like, yeah, well, I wanted to always do Utana, and I was like, because really Utana, like, Tifa and I don't really have a lot of overlap in our fandoms. So we were like, all right, well, we have this in common, this in common, this in common. Which of these do we pick? And then we had like brought up Utana like at the beginning. We're like, maybe let's see what else. That's like the obvious choice. Like, let's see what else we can come up with. And we're like, all right, fine. We like talked about it for like a half hour. We're like, all right, I guess we're just doing Utana. This is fine. So go with your gut. Your gut generally, I don't know. I follow my gut all the time.
And I love the point about doing something you love too.
Because the more you love it, the more passionate you will be about it, the more you will want to, you will be more okay with also, because I'm not going to lie, WCS, any cosplay competition is going to spend you a heck of a lot of money. So if you're not willing to put in that money and the time and the effort, you really like do those things, because
sorry,
we are intimate.
I sort of shared the wrong thing. Sorry.
Oh no,
I'm going to be sharing the whole screen, but I'm trying to share your different. Yeah, like that. There you go.
There we go. Yes.
Yay.
So and that's because we're talking about impractical costumes. Tifa doing Erd. Have fun with that.
Yeah,
and that too. That's also an impractical costume that turned out really well. Her Ivy.
I don't know how I did that to this day, but yeah, to harp on Barry's point, like, yes, like I'm going to be completely honest. Don't just do something because you see it's popular and you think you'll win. Please do. I see that a lot of people have like, oh, this is big and flashy. I'm going to do this because it gives me a better chance to win. Not necessarily. Already said, I've always wanted to do Utana, and we had a couple other ideas like, oh, let's do this, or how about we do this? Like, we went back to basics. We went back to Utana. That was what we both had passion about. It's one of our favorite series. That's what we went with. And you could tell even in our performance how passionate we were. Like, this is not something we did because we think it would make us win. This is something we did because we both love this series.
Exactly.
Character. And that, I really want to say, that contributed to us winning. So, like, just don't do something because you think you'll win with it. Like, you have to have passion for it. Also, your partner is very important.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yes, picking your partner is very, because, yes.
And I love just like how you guys highlighted your division of labor too, where you did the script and you did the video editing and stuff like that. Like, it's important to communicate.
No, like we literally, I mean, we still talk pretty much every day. Like we, at the end when we were done, like we were like, well, I don't know, am I gonna talk to you tomorrow? Don't be a stranger. And I mean, we're fine. I mean, we're still really good, obviously quite good friends, and we talk very frequently. But like we were talking like every day for like pretty much what would come up to about like hours on end. With
you guys really like your partner too, because like not only is it time, but it's like stress too, like deadlines and expectations and stuff like that. Like, don't like pair up with somebody who you don't like under pressure. Like,
Oh, and also I forget we talked about timeline, but we never actually mentioned a timeline. We I think started the process in April. In March. We started I started my costume in April. We filmed May 1st. Everything had to begin by June 1st.
Oh my God, that's such a turnaround.
Yeah, it was lightning. It was lightning speed, and like I don't know how I made the 2 costumes in a month and a half.
Yeah, because you guys essentially made 4 costumes.
Yeah, between the 2 of us, yes.
Yeah.
But I will say, I know we have time here, but just to get on my soapbox just a little bit, just to reiterate, and I know it was kind of obvious, yes, I was the only pretty much visible POC in the competition. I would love to see more POC and Black cosplayers, particularly entering WCS. The last Black cosplayer that won Team USA was back in 2005. That was my graduation year of high school. So you can imagine. But it's not. I'm not even talking about the United States in general. Like everyone all over the world. Like if you look like me, you can do this. Like I even said it. Like
Yeah, she said it on international international stream.
Yes.
Like
Spread the message.
they interviewed us, and the question was, what's the hardest part of cosplay for you? And I straight up, like, you can ask Barry. Like, I was like,
I was like, oh, damn, she said it. Oh, okay, nice.
I literally said, okay, I sometimes I cosplay characters that don't look like me, but that's okay because all I care about is having fun.
Exactly.
And you can tell even the judges, your Japanese judges were very impressed by.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you could tell they were like, so can I.
Like that's what cosplay is about. It doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter your size, race, whatever. Like we all have fun. This is a hobby that anyone can get into. So never, ever, ever, ever be afraid to enter this competition, especially WCS. I want to see more of you in it. I want to see more of you representing USA, even all around the world. Whatever country you're from, you can do this. You can.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes, that's a great way to win this too.
And it's crazy because like I've had people go, well, I just don't know any POC creators to follow, and I'm like,
Stellara Nebula, Arab Glee, ChibiTifa, Cosplay Choco. Do I have a freaking huge list?
My brain always explodes at that. I'm like, you're not paying attention then because there are amazing creators of all sorts. So, all right, final wrap up. Where can we find you? Where can we follow you? Throw yourselves out there.
Tifa, go ahead.
I am going to follow my chaotic self. I am on Twitter at ChibiTifa. My Facebook is ChibiTifa Cosplay. My Instagram is also ChibiTifa.
I am OMG It's Barri on both Instagram and Twitter. I'm mostly on Twitter, then mostly on Instagram. So those are probably the two best places to find me. I do have a cosplay Facebook page that needs to be dusted off, but it is Barracuda Cosplay on there. And yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much mostly on TikTok. Or no, oh my God, not TikTok. TikTok is for the kids. I am not a kid. I'm not. I don't understand TikTok. I don't. Yeah. I have an account, but that's it.
I'm on TikTok, and half the time I'm just like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm just like. So yes, Twitter and Insta are probably the two best places to find me. I also style wigs, so if you ever need wigs styled as a commission, or if you need help with wigs, always happy to help. Anything, questions, I'm always happy to. My DMs are always open. I have both on Twitter and Instagram all the time.
Barry doesn't know that they just unlocked a new boss level called Sam. Because Sam's terrible with wigs.
Well, that's fine. You can hit me up, man. Because I'm actually working on Tifa's next her Jolene wig right now.
Ooh.
So I styled both of our wigs for WCS as well. But
they were awesome.
Next announcement is CosTalk Live's featured wig maker is now Barracuda.
I mean, that's fine with me.
So our next wig episode.
I'm happy to come. Happy to come help.
I'm still stuck on Tifa hand sewing all that.
Yeah, I know, right? Right.
Yeah, that's amazing to me. I'm not a good seamstress. So.
We should have had a hidden camera somewhere, Tifa, so that they could just like.
Oh my God! I was like this, and I was just watching Escaflowne. I'm like, she said, singing the opening song like by episode, and then I'm like screaming, and he told me like, "Why did you leave?" Like on my like 36 applique. It was nuts. It was nuts, but it was rewarding. It was
do what you love. Do what you love. Hand sewing and anime. And I'm Amber Brite Props on like everything. Just amberbriteprops.com if you need stuff
on things.
Just thermocosplay.com. Make it simple. Go there. All my instructables are linked there because I know everyone keeps asking me where my tutorials are. Instructables.
Barri, Tifa, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so
much
for
welcome.
Sharing your experience with us, and hopefully we inspired some more people to give it an old college try.
Yeah.
But yes, no, like I said, I'm sure this goes for Tifa as well. We're both happy to answer any additional questions you guys have. I'm very open book when it comes to cosplay because I believe in giving back. Because that's how I learned, was through other people and the internet and all the now hundreds of cosplay tutorials that are out there. Back in the day, there was maybe 10 of them. But yes, no, I'm all about giving back. And yeah, that's it for me.
Yay.
Well, thank you both. And we'll see all of you guys next week, which happens to be on Halloween. And it seems like I'm doing makeup on Jinx. So, special effects makeup. Hey, Amber, you should come join it. We should just turn her into something crazy.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be
I
awesome.
saw this neat trick where you make like ribs with like spoon things. Can we make her like exploded rib cage? Like,
Yeah. Oh, poor Jess. She's gonna be like Frankenstein, like. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful Sunday. Bye, everyone.